Hello. Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to your weekly edition of Show Me How It's Done. My name is Lauren Urbonis, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So hello to any of you who do catch me live. Sometimes I'm on here live at noon on the Tuesdays, or sometimes I just do a recording depending on my schedule. And it's nice because you can watch me whenever you're free. So I hope that you do pop on and say hi if you're watching, and that if you're watching the replay, you know you can always reach out if you have any questions about the projects that we've done. Just an FYI, I have put all of the measurements and the supply list in the description on this video, so you might want to just hit pause if you're watching the recording and get all of those things cut, and then it'll be a lot easier for you to kind of just follow along and put your project together. So I have two cards for you today because I really love this card and envelope set. So I'm going to show you the cards and envelopes that I'm using. These are the Warm Wishes, Warm Wishes cards and envelopes. They're an online exclusive right now, and they were made to complement the November 2023 Stampin' Up! Paper Pumpkin Kit. So you get 20 of these oversized large envelopes and 20 of these gorgeous card bases. However, if you're like me, you probably want to make the most out of your set. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take one of these bases and turn it into two cards just by adding a little bit of cardstock that you probably have in your stash. So you will need a trimmer for sure to be able to replicate this card. And then the die and stamp that I decided to use is the Merriest Trees bundle from Stampin' Up! So just an FYI, right now I think the dies are sold out. But the fun thing about this bundle is Stampin' Up! Told us that it will be carrying over into some sort of 2024 publication. So I didn't feel too badly showing it to you today. The Merriest Trees stamp set and the dies right now, if you purchase them before January 3rd as a bundle, you'll get 10% off when you buy them together. However, you certainly can wait till they come out either in our next holiday catalog or in the annual catalog. I'm not really sure which one they'll show up in, but you can still purchase them. They just won't be discounted together. Okay, so that's your little caveat and your little option there. If you do see anything that you love while we're creating, my website is just listed on the bottom, laurenabonis.stampinup.net, and you can find all the stuff that I'm mentioning on that website. You can have things ordered straight to your house. And just an FYI that I am in Canada, so if you're somewhere else in the world and you don't have a demonstrator and you need help connecting, please reach out. I'm more than happy to guide you to the Stampin' Up! Demonstrator locator, or I have a few friends in other parts of the world that I could potentially connect you with as well. So let's get creating. We're going to start by chopping up this little piece of paper to create two card bases. So as I mentioned, you need a trimmer. I'm going to use my Stampin' Up! Trimmer here, and I am going to move the cards out of the way just for now to make my life a little easier. Okay, so for my projects here, pardon me, I'm yawning already. I shouldn't be. It's only noon. Do you like my Christmas sweater? I decided to get a little festive. It's even got a little nose. It's a little reindeer. And I have Jingle Bell earrings somewhere hiding there. Okay, trimmers. That's what we need here. So it's up to you which side you keep large. I kind of thought it was prettier to keep this piece with the moon large. The tree, it doesn't matter. It can go on either one of the cards, but I really liked the moon feature here. So I'm going to keep this one as my long and large piece of paper. So I'm going to turn it around because I want to make sure I'm measuring properly. And I'm going to cut this at 4 3/4 of an inch. So I'm just barely, you can kind of see that scored mark. That's where the card would fold in half typically. I'm barely off of that. So measure twice, cut once. We're lined up to 4 3/4, showing most of the moon paper. Okay. Now I just need to cut a tiny little bit off of the bottom because I need this to fit onto a card base. So this I'm going to make 6 3/4. Okay. And just slicing off smallest of little pieces here. Okay. Sorry, I have to move things. Okay, so there is one card base. Now, while you're kind of getting things set up, it might be nice for you just to prep the pieces that this goes with as well. So, oh, where did I put that? There you are. Almost lost it. We might as well just cut our Night of Navy piece and our ivory piece to go with this card. So the nice thing is your ivory piece is going to have the exact same measurements as this. It will be 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 because that's going on the inside of your card. And then this blue Night of Navy piece, it is giant, I know. It's going to be 7 inches by 10, and we're putting a score mark down the middle at 5. So that is the card size that Stampin' Up! Has kind of originally given you. It's 7 inches by 10. They scored down the middle so that when they made this card, this is the size that fit in the nice, beautiful red envelope. So all I did was replicate that, and then I chopped down my pieces so that they would fit inside to decorate and outside to decorate. Okay, so I've got that large card cut. We will decorate it, but we're going to set that aside for a moment and concentrate on the small card now. Okay, so the small card, basically the reason why I didn't just take this piece and make a whole second large card is the fact that these red envelopes are oversized. They're bigger than what we sell as envelopes. And so you certainly could go on Amazon or envelopes.com or something and try to find yourself this size of an envelope. And then of course you can easily make a second large card. But most of us have envelopes just for a standard A2, it's called an A2 card. That's kind of a small size, and that's most of the envelopes that we sell. We have white and vanilla envelopes, and I figured because that's the most predominant set of envelopes that you have, we're going to just downsize this card, make it a little smaller for you. So you're going to do a lot of chopping on this one. Are you ready? You're going to be a little sad. Okay, this one we're going to chop at 4 inches. Okay, so lining this up at 4 inches, we're going to cut this whole strip off the side. I know. Set it aside though. I have an idea you can use it for later. Now, what you need for this piece is you need it basically to be 5 1/4 inches total. So I like to cut some of my snow off and some of my sky, just so it's a little bit more proportional. Otherwise, I kind of found it was a little odd. So what I'm just going to do is I'm maybe going to go ahead and cut about 1 inch off my sky. And then I'm going to turn this around and line it up to 5 1/4. And that leaves me a little bit of snow that I have to cut off here now. Okay, well, hopefully that made sense. This once was this nice big strip. I cut 1 inch of the sky off the top. Then I made sure this was 5 1/4. So this leaves me, let's measure it. It was about 3/4 of an inch that I chopped off from the snow. Okay, so all those little scraps, just set aside. You can always use them later to decorate. But here is the card front for card number 2. Let's go ahead and make the base. I'm losing things all over. Here we go. Let's make the base for that one. So you need a piece of very vanilla for the inside. Once again, measuring 4 by 5 1/4. And then we've got a standard card base. So this is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. and I've put a score mark at 4 1/4. And with all of that complete, now I'm ready to start putting these pieces together, and then you've got a whole lot of work ahead of you cutting out tree pieces if that's how you decide to decorate this. So I'm going to move this off the table. I don't need it at the moment. And all I'm going to do to set my bases up is just use a flat adhesive. So tape, seal, glue, whatever you're most comfortable with. You're going to use that just on the back of your projects and put them together. Okay? We can do a double whammy. We'll just get this all done here. The nice thing about this is it's quite easy once you get the hang of it. And so I would suggest if you buy this whole pack of paper that maybe you sit down and make like a whole whack of trees. And so you're ready to go. And then all you need to do is just chop up these cards and envelopes and assemble them. So it's kind of like a good project to watch a movie with. Once you're set up, you're pretty good. I love the paper because it's got this natural iridescent glimmer, both in the snow and the sky. I didn't add that at all. Stampin' Up! Printed it directly on the cards for you. It's just so pretty. Okay, so then on the inside, I like to put something to write on. I could have easily used white because that kind of complements the front, but figured a navy is really classic and it kind of looks very Christmassy and warm. So I'm using navy on the inside. Now on the inside of your cards, you can come back later and stamp away. You can put a tree in here, you can put a sentiment. It's completely up to you. But I like to usually design the inside of my cards after I figure out who they're going to. Some people, I need a lot of writing room. Some people, it's just a quick like, hey, thinking about you. Have a wonderful day. Here's my card base. Now I do want to note, you know, those scraps that you had, this guy, even this guy. What you can do with them is you could bring them in and use them to decorate part of your card. So you could put a little piece here, or you could use the snow at the bottom. That would be cute too. So one of those two pieces could be used for your small card. And then I thought it would be really pretty with this piece if it kind of went just on the inside of this card, either on the right or potentially even on the left. I would definitely have to trim it down a little bit because you've got like a weird line here, which was kind of the original fold line of your card. So I would suggest cutting that off, and then you'll have to trim a little of the snow, but it would look really pretty decorating the inside of your card. I will leave that up to you. Okay, now to the front of our card. So remember when I mentioned that you had a lot of tree cutting ahead of you? You do. It's not a joke. So what you're going to need to do is take the Merriest Tree dies, and you're going to need to cut 2 large trees, 2 number 2s, 2 number 3s, 2 number 4s, 2 number 5s. What I decided to do was I wanted 2 different colors in my scheme. And so I kind of made my life a little easier, and I cut 2 large trees, but one with navy, and I'm going to move this so you can see, and one with blueberry bushel. And then I just went opposite so that every time I cut, it was just quick, and I could have, basically I ran all of my dies through on one piece of blueberry bushel first, and then all the dies through on the Night of Navy, and then I sorted them into 2 different piles. So I didn't have to sit there and do multiple passes. It was literally just one whole sheet. I ran it all through, and I came out with these alternating trees. So the cards, they're basically mirror images of each other. And then in the end, I have a card that looks very similar, but also not purely identical, which is kind of fun. Okay. And then one option for you is you can either leave your trees blank, they'll look cute, but if you own the stamp set, then you're going to take this large tree and the Night of Navy ink, and you're going to stamp on each of your trees to add this beautiful tree layer. Now you might be questioning the fact that there is only one stamp. It's intended for you to use on all the sizes. So if you had the largest size, it would fit perfectly on the entire tree. When you get to the second one, you'll note that your stamp fits only in the top 3 tiers. You're not actually using this bottom one. So always make sure to stamp on a scrap when you're using this stamp, because otherwise you're going to make a big mess. And then you're going to just keep going and make 3rd layer, 4th layer, and 5th layer, all just using the same stamp and that Night of Navy ink, like that. So I have that all prepared just because sometimes I like to have things pre-prepped, but I will show you how to assemble the tree just so you make it kind of the most beautiful that it can be. So I start just with my base, and then I'm going to grab tree number 2, and I like to give it a little bit of life. So, hi Kathy, I'm just going to use my bone folder and pop up the bottom a little bit. That little fringe, I'm popping up a little bit, and I'll do that to all of the other layers too. Oops, drop. Okay, 2. This is just making the tree look a little bit more natural and gives it a little bit of lift. Okay, so I'm focusing on this large card here, but of course the small card will have the exact same technique to it as well. Okay, so then I'm going to use a flat adhesive, so either glue or tape. I probably would consider glue for this, but I like things drying quickly when I'm doing them for you. So I'm just going to use tape. You just need a little bit up the center of your tree. You don't even need to make sure that every branch tip is covered, and you don't want to cover the bottom of this tree because you want it to actually come out. It's going to line up perfectly on top of that tree base, and then all you're going to see is the original glue in the bottom. Continuing down, I'm going to do the exact same thing to all of these layers, so they just look really full. If you really, really wanted to, you could dimensionalize each layer, but I will warn you that this probably would not fit in your card if you did that. So, or in your envelope. So if you're just handing it to the person, that's great. You don't need to worry. Otherwise, you probably have a little challenge. Okay, and last but not least, so there's this tree. I might as well go ahead and do the second tree, just in case you're madly trying to chop and cut things. I'll just assemble my second tree now, so it's ready to go, but you can just know that we're doing it the exact same, okay? So, tree base, and it's just going to be opposite colors. I've already fluffed this set. I went very non-traditional. I started out thinking I should have a green tree that matched kind of the green in the background. And then none of my greens really gave me that same look. And so I decided to go very, very different. And I'm making a blue tree. So don't forget, you can just have fun with things sometimes. It doesn't have to be traditional per se. It just kind of looks like a tree in a night sky because it's our trees are never really green when we see them at night. They look dark and black and blue, so I figured it kind of is a very natural look. Oh, okay, I'm going to set this one aside and I'm just going to focus on one card, just so I don't take up too much of your time. So we're going to focus on the large card. And I'm going to now take this large tree and pop it up on dimensionals. That is the one layer I'm popping up because we do want it kind of to stand out from the backdrop, and it'll start to really come alive. Add a little bit of dimension now. This one is kind of just coming right up in this gap, you know, the gap that the trees had. We're covering that gap up and making sure not to go over top of the moon. And then I went crazy with my silver glitter paper. So the silver that I chose was, we had some adhesive backed silver and gold paper in the holiday catalog. And it was amazing because basically when you cut things out with it, it turns them into a sticker automatically. But if you did not snag some of those, and unfortunately, I think they're sold out now and haven't heard that they're continuing on, what you can use is in our annual catalog, we have some adhesive sheets that basically will do the same thing. All you do is attach them to your paper, the back of any cardstock, foil, glitter paper, and it will turn them into a sticker for you. So I apologize, I should have had this ready. On page 153 of the annual catalog, number 5 here, these adhesive sheets. You'll get 12 sheets that are 6 by 12 inches. And the camera doesn't want to focus. There we go. So you can order those and basically make your own adhesive back glitter paper, kind of like I did. So with my die set, there was this cute little base, and it does have a lot of detail that you can't really see with the foil, but that's okay. It's still going to be fun. I'm going to pop that base up on dimensionals, and we'll tuck it just under the bottom of the tree here. So that Merriest Trees die set is truly just chock full. Like, all of these things are from that set. There you go. Okay, I've got a star that I'm going to put on top. And the star is probably the easiest if you have just a little glue dot or a dot of glue. You're going to pop that on the back and put this onto the top of your tree. That one doesn't need its own dimensional. It'll be popped up from the tree. Now I went ahead and I cut another small single layer little tree here. And let's look in this set here. This would be size 1, 2, 3, like the third from the bottom. It complements really well with this "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" stamp. So I cut this out of the blueberry bushel and stamped it with Night of Navy to give myself a fun little extra tree that I'm going to now put beside my large one. So I don't want to put dimensionals on the left side of the tree because that will bump up against the other large tree. I only want them under this right side here. That's where it's going to stand alone. That's where I need the dimension to it. And I'm probably even going to venture to put a little bit of adhesive on this left side, because then it will stick to the tree behind it. Okay. This guy just gets tucked right alongside here, and wherever you can still see it. And then I went ahead and I cut myself a star for that, again using the blue dot to put it up top. And then there's a really tiny, so this is a large base. There's a small base that the die set has already. It just looks like this little rectangle, and it could technically be like a present too. It coordinates with one of the present stamps, but I'm going to use it as like a tree stump or a tree trunk. Yes. So I didn't want a whole second large base. And I just figured we're going non-traditional, so we'll make that silver. Oh, that's off center. It's gonna bother me, sorry. There we go. Okay, it's looking so pretty, but we need to decorate a little. So one of the other super, super fun dies in here is this guy right over here. It cuts out these strings of decoration. So they could be lights, they could be like tinsel or balls, but they cut out a bunch of strands. And if you make them with the adhesive sheets, you need to do, pull them off. You don't need any glue because they're already sticky in the back. It's like a sticker. You just stick them into place all the way down the tree. Should be one for each layer. And if you wanted to get crazy, you could have done gold and silver alternating or colored these with blends to make them different colors, but I'm not going that crazy. Just going shiny because it's fun. Last one. I guess I probably should have put this on for my little tree. I just have to trim this off. Okay, I'll just trim. Nobody's gonna know but you guys. Where are my scissors? Take that off. Nobody's gonna know it's not actually on the tree. There we go. So there is card number 1. I think for this one, I definitely had my tree up a little further, and it's fine. It's good either way. So whatever works for you is just fine. So I'm going to move this one. I want to bring in the small one and just give you a couple pointers. So basically on our small card, leaving this here so you can still finish. On our small card, we're going to bring our tree in and pop it up on dimensionals. And then because it's not as big, it didn't really have room for me to put a second card on there. So this is where I used the only thing that's not from the Warmest Wishes dies. I cut myself a tiny little banner using the Stylish Shapes dies. Okay, pop that tree up here. Got a star for the top once again. I'm basically making this exactly the same. Oh, thanks, Kathy. I'm glad you like it. Kathy, you should have these papers at my all-day retreat at the end of October. We used this Merriest Trees bundle for half of the day, and then I gifted everyone this pack of Warmest Wishes cards and envelopes because I loved them. So if you have any left, Kathy, you can make this now. Tucking this guy under. And then this little banner that I mentioned, I did use the Stylish Shapes dies. It's the smallest of the banners, but the To You and Yours sentiment is from that Merriest Trees. So it fits right on there so perfectly. I'm popping this guy up on dimensionals, otherwise it will get a little bit lost. And you can put this wherever you want. Like you could put it across the tree, you can put it up in the corner, but I just figured it's kind of cute just coming out of the side here. So that's where I decided to leave mine. Okay. And then to decorate this tree, of course, I have a whole nother set of those beautiful little strands. And whoop, this can go on just so perfectly. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy this card. It's definitely a showstopper with, you know, the combination of glitter from the paper and then throwing in a little bit of silver kind of just tops it all off. If you have any questions or if you need any help, then please just reach out. Just an FYI, I'm not going to do a video next Tuesday because it's kind of a Christmas week. I'm just going to spend it with my families. But I do have a few surprise videos for you guys that I'm planning to film before Christmas, including a little stocking stuffer, lip balm holder, and one other beautiful luminary card. So those videos are just going to pop up randomly on my Lauren Scraplot page. So make sure that you've liked and subscribed to my channel because then you'll get a notification that they have posted. Okay, so they're not going to be official show me how it's done videos, but they'll be in the show me how it's done section because I have a lot of fun ideas and I wanted to show them to you before Christmas. But if I don't see you before the holidays, I just want to hope you guys all have a wonderful break, whether you're spending time with family or just having a quiet holiday at home. I hope that it's wonderful. Stay healthy and enjoy the season. Merry Christmas, everyone. Bye.